Okay, this is the Viper 4567 here with the Attitude Era episode 11, WWF In Your House 18, Bad Blood. So, this was in the the Key Center in St. Louis, Missouri, of over 21,000 at this event. Before I start this, obviously this is the event where we find out that Brian Pillman has passed away. Vince McMahon announces that he's been found dead that afternoon in his hotel room. And also he wants to obviously sends his condolences to the family, and he does it in a very respectable way. Brian Pillman was supposed to fight Dude Love tonight, but obviously didn't happen. They were saying that it was about one sec. It was basically a drug overdose, and saying that all sports have problems. Vince was saying this now. That all sports have a problem with this. Basically, just covering his own ass, basically, which I didn't really particularly. I wouldn't have said it in that way. I would have said, look, it was a drug overdose, suspected overdose. Obviously, they're waiting for toxicology reports or something like that. It would take about a week or so. So it's a very kind of sad way to start the show. But we'll get on it with the Nation defeat the Legion of Doom in a crap open 3-on-2 handicap match. This match was supposed to have Ken Shamrock, but obviously he got injured with Farouk, but actually faced Vader a week before that in Japan. So obviously that reoccurred, the injury. So basically it was a 3-on-2 match. Basically, the match itself was poor. Had some decent stuff, maybe one or two little good decent spots. Dropkick from Hawk. Rock gets the tag, and basically the crowd are shouting, "Rocky sucks." Dropkick from Animal on Rock. Then on the outside, ref gets distracted. Rock indeed over around double team Animal. Animal gets the tag, but the ref doesn't see it. Then he eventually gets the tag. Hawk comes in, cleans out. Gets the go for the Doomsday device, but Farouk comes out, distracts them. Hawk misses a crossbody or something, or a shoulder block. Colin Mustafa kicks Hawk in the back of the head, and the Rock Bottom gets the win for the Nation. So wasn't a great match really. The crowd were into Rock, but that's literally about it, so I'll give it a star. So the match that was going to fill Dude Love and Brian Pillman was a tag team match, a little man's match basically, and it was absolutely fucking terrible, I must say. Like, the match, there's so many botches. It's not just that, it's the botches too, but just looked like it was obviously rushed. We all knew it was going to be rushed, but like, oh god, it was terrible. Max Mini pins Tarantula, and he kicks out, but yet the ref pins the three. That's how the match ended. Like, so it's an absolute shit match. I'll give it a dud. Basically, I'm not going to give it any stars because it doesn't deserve any. So we go to the next match. The Godwins defeat the Headbangers to win the WWF tag titles in what was a terrible match. Like, another bad match. Again, Sunny is the guest ring announcer for this match. I don't really get why she's doing all this, really. Yeah, I don't know, I just don't get it, really, to be honest. This match, again, was bad, as I've said. A few botches in this one, not as many as the previous match. Shit-looking Hurricane Rana from Trasher on Henry, which he goes through the ropes. It did look really poor. A very bad flapjack from the Headbangers on Phineas. He lands right on his head. Like, literally, it would have been that much away from breaking his neck. Nice dropkick then from Trasher on Henry. Splash from the top rope gets 2 for Trasher. Flying clothesline from Mosh. Trasher with a powerbomb. Powerbombs Mosh onto Phineas, which gets 2. Shit looking powerbomb from Phineas, where I think it's Mosh tries to do, what you call it, something. I think he was going for that fucking, I forget that move that Mosh does now, but he was going for something and it turns into a powerbomb, but it was absolutely terrible, and that gets the win. And then they attack the Headbangers at the end of the match with Uncle Festus. So overall, a really poor match, half star at best, I'll give that. Then we see a footage of Stone Cold stunnering people, which was nice. Then WWF had a type of Hall of Fame kind of induction ceremony, kind of technically. It's obviously not as one as they have now, but the wrestlers were Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., Gene Kaninsky, Harley Race, Terry Funk, Lou Fez, and Sam Muchnick. The crowd actually were into it now. Like, these were all famous wrestlers that wrestled throughout the whole of St. Louis, so that's why they were doing this, really. Which I kind of like too. Obviously, it's good to see kind of these are all good people, wrestlers or promoters in their time, so it was good to see. The crowd loved it too, which was cool. Then we had an update. Obviously, the Brian Pillman, there was no foul play, and obviously the police said that it was an overdose. So, next match then we have the Intercontinental Title Tournament final. Owen Hart defeating Farouk in an okay match, we'll say. I'll give it a star and a quarter. As we know, Austin had to vacate the IC title, obviously because what happened with Owen Hart at SummerSlam. So obviously had a tournament, Owen Hart defeating Goldust and Brian Pillman. And Farouk lost to Shamrock, obviously, in that match, but obviously due to Shamrock's injury, he got back in. Farouk and bet Ahmed Johnson by disqualification to face Owen in the final. Austin makes this match really watchable, I must say. He does commentary with all three announced teams, which was fucking brilliant. Which, I'll tell you one thing, he was absolutely brilliant in 97-98. Owen basically works Farouk's leg throughout the whole match. Farouk doesn't sell, which he doesn't sell, which is typical Farouk. Farouk pushes Owen shoulder first into the ring post. Backbreaker gets 2 for Farouk. Farouk misses a leg drop on the second rope. Farouk then with a nice power slam, which gets 2. Jim the Anvil Neihart comes to the ring. Spinebuster gets 2 for Farouk. Neihart distracts the ref. Austin hits Farouk with the IC belt, and Owen pins for the victory. So Owen Hart regains the WWF Intercontinental title, which was an okay best match of the night so far. I give it a star and a quarter. So that leads obviously to Austin versus Owen at the following pay-per-view, which would have been Survivor Series. So let's get on, shall we? The DOA defeat Los Barricas and this is another bonus match and another shit. 2 bonus matches all sucked. The Big Apple, basically. I'm not even going to talk about this match. This match was worse than the fucking Max Mini match. Tell you, poor finisher, poor tilt-a-war backbreaker gets the win. I think it was Crush who pinned fucking Jose. I think it was one of them anyway. But straight up dud. Let's move on to Bret Hart and the British Bulldog defeating Vader and the Patriot in an okay to good match. Best promo I've seen from a while from Vader. Best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Well, isn't that just bullshit, he goes. Which was fucking brilliant. The match itself, as I said, was okay. It could have been a whole lot better. Don't get why WWF title was not on the line at this pay-per-view, which it could have been Bret Hart versus Vader or the Patriot again, whatever. Like, the WWF title should always be on the line at a pay-per-view. I don't care what anyone says. Brawl started with on the outside of the ring. Vader hits Bret with the Canadian flag. Bulldog hits Patriot with the US flag, basically. So Bret goes low on the Patriot. Shit looking back body drop from Patriot. Vader sits on Bret and gets 2. Drop kick then from Patriot gets on Bulldog. Patriot goes shoulder first into the ring post. Bret then gets the figure 4 leg lock ring post style. Bret gets the sharpshooter on Patriot, and Patriot reverses into one of his own, but Bulldog clotheslines him. And obviously breaks it up. Bret Hart gets the sharpshooter then on Vader, which Patriot breaks up. Patriot then with a figure 4 on Bret, where Bret is, he can tag in the Bulldog, and Bulldog breaks it up. Vader goes for moonsaults but misses, but almost lands on his feet. He lands on it, but he falls down, which was kind of cool. Bret goes low then on Patriot and then hits Vader with the ring bell. Diving elbow from Bret from the second rope. Nice DDT from Bret as well on Vader, gets 2. A shit looking Uncle Slam gets 2 from Patriot. A fan then comes into the ring, he gets owned by Bulldog and the ref. Vader bomb on Bret, but Bret rolls up. But obviously Vader's not the legal man, and then Bret rolls up Patriot to get the win. And Vader and Patriot basically just kick both Bret and Bulldog out of the ring. So overall the match wasn't great. As I've said, it wasn't really good. It was good at best. Like, I'd give it 2 stars. Like, that shows how bad this pay-per-view is. It's been a while since I've done a bad pay-per-view. It's really been I think it was Cold Day in Hell was the last time I've done a really bad show. So there you go. But don't worry, folks, we have the best match coming to last, which is next. Shawn Michaels defeating The Undertaker in a fantastic Hell in a Cell match. I'll tell you one thing, I've watched this match now. This is probably my 30th time ever watching this match. And I'll tell you one thing, I'd never get sick watching it. I'll tell you one thing, it's the beginning of an era, basically. You know it's the beginning of the Hell in a Cell era. Unfortunately, our Hell in a Cell matches are not as good as they used to be. So I think since 2000 and after Undertaker Edge where the Hell in a Cell matches have gone down. Even Undertaker Triple H at WrestleMania, it was good, but he just didn't feel it should have been a Hell in a Cell. Because, like, I know, yeah, like, it's not all about the blood, but, like, come on, like, in a Hell in a Cell, you're expecting a little bit of blood. But, this match was fantastic. This obviously happened because of HBK costing Taker the WWF title at SummerSlam, which he was the guest referee. And obviously, went to hit Bret Hart, but obviously he ducked in this and hit Taker, and that what cost him the title. And this obviously led to this match. Obviously, they had another match at Ground Zero, which was absolutely brilliant. That went to a no contest. So, simply awesome. That's what I call this match. Taker, for the first 10 minutes, dominates. HBK starts off with a big boot, then goes for old school and leg drop, then gets 2 backdrop from Taker as well. And you can see Shawn Michaels' foot hitting the top of the cage. This is the very first cell, so obviously this is smaller compared to the other ones. Taker rams HBK into the cage and then bounces him back and eats a clothesline. Oh, excuse me. The crowd are chanting "Make him bleed," which was kind of nice. Taker rams HBK into the cage, then the ring post, and then the cage, and then the ring post again. HBK then rams Taker into the cage, but Taker comes back with a clothesline. HBK pushes Taker off the apron into the cage, and suicide dives then onto Taker. HBK kind of climbs the cage and then does an elbow drop. HBK then from the apron of the ring does a dive and clothesline. HBK uses the steel steps twice and basically just rams it into Undertaker. And then basically HBK just grabs him and pile drives him onto the steel steps, which looked fucking awesome. And you can hear actually HBK telling a cameraman to fuck out of his way. This is not the first time he's had a problem with a camera in this match. Axe handle then from the top rope from HBK. HBK gets a chair, uses it twice to the back of Taker. HBK kind of ties Taker to the ropes, punches him a few times, runs towards him and eats a big boot. He runs out again and he gets driven over the top rope onto a cameraman, as I said, and basically just kicks the shit out of the camera. I don't know if this was planned or not, because HBK goes over to Vince basically, and you can see him from the cage basically letting rip. So obviously this was not planned. So HBK gets a diving elbow and then sweet chin music, and basically the EMTs are coming in to help the cameraman. Taker just gets up straight away. So HBK tries to get out of the ring. Basically Taker's behind him, grabbing them. They're brawling on the outside. Taker grabs HBK while he does a drop kick and catapults him into the cage. That's where he gets busted open. Does it again a few times. HBK then does the smart thing and basically just runs the fuck out and goes up the top of the cage. So Undertaker goes with him. Taker backdrops HBK onto the cage. You can see it from the camera down in the ring. It looked absolutely fantastic. Taker slams then HBK onto the cage, and then HBK is climbing there and he's trying to escape. He almost does it, but Taker stamps on his fingers and he goes flying into the Spanish announcer's table, which was fucking brilliant. Then Taker grabs him and then just launches him into the French announcer's table. Taker gets HBK back into the ring and gets him on the top rope and chokeslam him off it, which was absolutely fucking awesome. Taker then hits HBK square into the skull with the steel chair, and he signals for the tombstone. Lights go out, and then the music and obviously the red lights come out, and basically Vince McMahon's reaction was absolutely brilliant. It's gonna be Kane! Like the way he said it. This is the last time obviously Vince McMahon does pay-per-view commentary as well, which was, I tell you one thing, one of the greatest lines he's ever done. It's gonna be Kane! So Kane comes towards the ring and the cell, rips the cell door open, and then basically referees tell him to get out. He fucks him into the cage and basically goes face to face with Taker, which Taker's face is priceless in this. Then Kane goes to do his pyro thing, which we all get to know, and kicks him in the gut and gives him a tombstone. And then Kane basically leaves, and Shawn Michaels basically just covers Taker with the last bit of energy he has and gets the 1, 2, 3. And what was an absolutely fan-fucking-tastic match. I must say, I'll tell you one thing, great match. 5 stars easily, and probably I think it got match of the year 97, but you know what, it deserved it, because at the end of the day it was something different, it was something new. And I'll tell you one thing, I fucking loved it. I'll tell you one thing, what was a bad pay-per-view, like, made you knew that there was something special coming towards the end of the show. So it was a fantastic match, 5 stars easily. So as I said, overall the pay-per-view itself was terrible, really. Like that, it's basically a one match show. It's one of the worst pay-per-views I've watched for a little while now, because I've had about 5 or 6 good decent ones now. The last 3, obviously just including this one, the pay-per-views are not really pretty good of 97. Obviously Survivor Series wasn't great, obviously with the Montreal Screwjob, which I'm looking forward to. I've actually not watched the full event, so So it's going to be interesting. So there you go. So that's my review of Bad Blood 97 in your house. Next pay-per-view will be Survivor Series, which shall be interesting. So as the pay-per-view goes, I give it a 3. The third worst pay-per-view of the year, maybe the fourth, because there's been some bad ones. So let me know what you think down in the comment section, and please subscribe. So I will talk to you again soon, guys, and take it easy.